Hi there folks, my name's NovaWing24 and welcome once again to Microsoft Flight. So I hope you've enjoyed the last couple of weeks of some of the fantastic group flights that I've been participating in with the team over at msflights.net. I know I've definitely enjoyed listening to some of that music as well, so I hope you've enjoyed it too. But this week, folks, we've actually got something new. It's been a little while since I've published a pack of liveries for Microsoft Flight. So I'm back from a bit of a drought to show off a couple of new schemes and a new pack that I've just released. What we're going to do is we're going to jump in. I'm going to quickly show you. So here's the first one. So this is my Under Foreign Skies Part 2 pack. So the first pack had the P-51s captured by the Luftwaffe. This second pack is going to be it brings together three Zeros and a P-40. So here in front of us is the first Zero. So this is in the hands of the Allied Technical Air Intelligence Center. Before I start prattling on too much about its history, let's jump up, let's jump into it, and let's take it up for a bit of a spin, shall we? All right, so we're gonna take off from Honolulu International here today, I think. I'll go 8 left. I think I'm gonna have some pretty strong winds, I think, today. And there we go. Okay, and there she is, folks. So, as I was sort of starting to allude to, the Allied forces... oh, that wasn't the right button. There we go, that's the button I wanted. There we go. The Allied forces, well, like anything, wanted to get a bit more information about what their enemy was flying. Know thy enemy, to make sure that everything's working for us. I suppose that's always very important. When sort of troops they entered the war with Japan, there was very little known by the US and the Allied forces about Japanese aircraft and their capabilities, and indeed what they could do and how they would perform against the forces of the day of the Allies. So it was very important that they gained this knowledge very quickly. So there was various technical air intelligence units created, and these would serve alongside frontline forces, and so when they were going out in the field and actually then recover or work to recover any captured enemy aircraft, and in order to allow them to be restored and well, maybe not so much restored, but to be able to have flown and actually tested against the Allied aircraft of the day, and just to see how they were and their performance abilities and where their weaknesses and strengths would be. So they played a very vital role in doing this. Now, a bit of an interesting history. So each of the major powers all had their own sort of units, all sort of working together. So the US Army Air Force and the US Navy both had one each, along with the Royal Air Force, the British Forces, and the Royal Australian Air Force also had one as well. And interesting enough, the US and Australian ones was the first unit to be created, and they were co-located in Eagle Farm in just outside of Brisbane, very, very close to me. So they were operating out of there during the war. Now they started with a couple of Zeros that were recovered from the jungles of New Guinea, as well as one being based over at I think it was Naval Air Station Anacostia. That was it, yeah, Anacostia. Forgive me, all my American friends, American viewers. I've probably pronounced that completely wrong, but there you go. And that's where the US Navy unit was based, and they had the first examples of the first example in the field was based in Australia. So as you can see, this one particular one here is indicative of one that was captured by British forces, hence the British markings on it, and then on its way to being transferred to the Central Technical Air Intelligence Center, which was located in the US. So as we sort of fly past the main island of Hawaii, and naval air station down there with our famous carrier landings. We might have a quick look at that, might we? So yeah, this is one of the schemes that I'm going to have here. So I'll quickly, as I said, it's a nice basic one. It's a bit of a repaint. You can still, again, like what I try and do, because even on the real ones, you could still see the old remnants of the Japanese markings and the previous owner's markings on there. Which I've managed to keep through that. Alright, so that's this one here. So what we might do is we might switch over to some of the others. So let's jump in. We'll grab another Zero. Alright, there we are. So the second one is this one here. So Air Intelligence Center 8. Now I'm not going to flick this one up for a spin because it's essentially pretty much it's the same, just this time with the USAF markings on it to sort of show, because it was one of the ones that was captured by them. So, but again, before being transferred to the central intelligence center on continental US. Alright, so there's that one. Now, but I do want to show off this third Zero that I have. Now, this one's kind of cool. Now, this one has quite the story behind it, and forgive me because I've just lost my notes here. Here we are. All right, there we are. Yes, I do actually take notes for some of these folks. So this one here, I'm gonna try and get a shot of it. So this one is actually done up in the standard US Navy camouflage of the day. So it's the mid blue on the top and the light blue on the belly. So those who have the Corsair DLC and have been playing around the Corsair, you'll recognise that one, this colour scheme pretty much straight away. Now, this particular aircraft has, as I said, a bit of a history. So this was the first one captured intact by the Allies. What actually happened is that it was actually captured in Alaska. So in hindsight, maybe I should have been flying around Alaska for this video, but anyway. So this one became known as the A6M Zero because it had a forced landing down on the island of Akutan in the Aleutian Islands off the southern western extremities of Alaska, and it was captured there, and it was landed intact by the pilot, and he landed where he thought within Japanese-controlled islands, and they weren't. They were still proudly under the command of the good old US of A. So this one was shipped, and as I said, the first one that was actually captured completely intact by the Allies. Now this was then moved very, very quickly to Naval Air Station Anacostia and repainted into this standard US scheme. They operated several more in the more traditional, so like just doing basic silver or grey liveries, but there were this one, quite a few pictures around for this one. And I just really liked, the idea that it was actually painted up to resemble normal US forces. So yeah, I was pretty chuffed by this one, and wanted to really get to actually give this one a crack at the scheme for it, as we fly over our carrier deck there. So there's a bit of a history behind that one, and some really fascinating articles and pictures of that one kicking around. So yeah, if you're interested, definitely have a read and see what you think. Alright, so that's our Zeros shown off. Now let's show off the other one. Now, so this time we go with, and I've gone with the P40 schemes. And you're sort of like thinking, alright, so who would have captured those? Well, this particular P40, and here we are. Now this particular P40 is supposed to be a P40E. This one was one of the American units which was captured intact, or relatively intact, in the Philippines, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so for the Philippines area, when the Japanese were doing their sort of outward island hopping. And what it does, it was captured and sent over to the Japanese equivalent of the technical center. Now, I'm not even going to attempt pronouncing what it is in Japanese. I'm not even going to try. It would do horrible, horrible things to a language which I quite like. So, yeah, I'm not even going to try it. So, it said you're going to put up the English translation. So the English translation is the Army Air Testing and Research Centre. Now, this was also known as Gidken, as the sort of short thing. And you can see their little winged pyramid emblem on the tail there. So this was again same as what the Allies did. You know, the Axis forces were doing exactly the same thing. It's about knowing one's enemy. So they were very heavily involved in actually making sure they knew how it worked and how to counter it, and how to make the most of its disadvantages, and be careful of its advantages. So, and this one operated outside of Tokyo in 1943, I believe. So yeah, there you go. Well, folks, as I said, it's been a bit of fun putting these, doing the research for these actually, as much as it was for doing the actual skins themselves. And yeah, look, I hope you enjoy them. Now, these skins will be available by the time this video goes to air. They will be available for download through the A6M library, along with my collection. But I will also be putting up my repaints for Microsoft Flight. They do have a new permanent home now. So I have been graciously offered some web server space by DeathSeeker.exe, who's a member of the MS Flights community, over at his website Flight Central. So I'm going to pop the URLs to all of those down below, and Flight Central is a really good place to go also to get some of the repaints that you can't get on the AV-Sim library. Death himself was quite an avid repainter for a while, so he's got some really, really cool metallic and carbon schemes, sort of carbon fibre inspired schemes. So I do highly recommend that you pick those up. So, well, folks, that's pretty much me done for today. Thanks very much for watching. Again, hope you enjoy these skins. Feel free to grab them. All the links will be down below. Otherwise, folks, take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.